We've all seen pictures talking about going 8, 9, 12 weeks with the same manicure, but how long should you go between fills? Today, I'm going to answer all of your burning questions. Hey guys, Liz from the Nail Hub here. Welcome to 2021. You probably are saying, Liz, where the heck have you been? You've been off of YouTube since what? Halloween? So I don't know about you, but 2020 was a very rough year. And I took a lot of time off just because I needed a break from everything. I needed to just be in sweatpants, relax, do a little self-care. And you can even see how much longer my hair is since the last video I posted on here. But I'm super excited to be back, and my break definitely helped remotivate me for everything that 2021 is going to bring. So today I am back with some awesome education, and one of the things that I've been thinking about recently that I wrote down on my list of videos I want to make this year is talking about how long you should be going between fills, or how long your clients should be going between fills. I have seen thousands and thousands of posts on social media of people showing super grown out nails that went 9, 10, 12 weeks, sometimes even more, with the same product and the same manicure, and the nails are just super, super grown out. And although this is an awesome achievement when it comes to talking about your skill set and mastering the product that you're working with, and I definitely don't want to downplay that at all, because I know that when you're first learning as a nail technician and you're struggling to make anything last, and then finally your clients, especially maybe a difficult client you've had when it comes to keeping product on their nails, is finally going 4, 5, 6 weeks with their manicures, everyone feels so excited because the client's going, wow, I'm getting so much longevity out of my service. I'm getting so much value for my money. And the nail tech is going, woohoo, I'm a hero because I got all my product to last for a super long amount of time. And this has kind of turned into this almost badge of honor for a lot of nail providers about how long their manicures are going to last on you. It's also become an advertising technique to clientele about, hey, come to me because my stuff lasts longer than anybody else. But I wanted to talk about some of the things that aren't being talked about in these posts, and why I actually don't think it's a good idea to be promoting this 8, 9, 10-week wear, or even going beyond the 5-week mark, okay? So let's talk a little bit more about nail anatomy. And if you remember, I did talk about some of this in my C-curve and apex video about how structure is so important. Okay, so we have a nail, obviously, that has product on it. I quickly put some Luminary Essence. If you're wondering what color this is Luminary Essence with a matte top coat. I thought matte would be easy to see. And this is a beautiful gray color that Luminary just came out with. It's called Essence. So we have added that to the color list that's available for Luminary. If you love Luminary, we love Luminary. It lasts forever. And what better product to talk about this with than a product that literally stays on anyone's nails for weeks upon weeks upon weeks. Now, this is what the nail would look like fresh after applying. We have a nice arch here, a nice apex or concentration of product back here to allow for some strength. And if you look at the concentration of product down the center, we also have that nice mohawk of product. And as I've talked a lot in the past, having these concentrations of product both down the center ridge of the nail as well as in that apex area, depending on whether you prefer it back towards the cuticle or you like it a little bit more in the center. I talked about the importance of having an apex and how that dome-like structure creates strength on our nail. So if you haven't watched my C-curve video, please go back and watch it, because understanding why we do apexes and why we create C-curves underneath nails is very, very important. Okay, so this is an ideal nail. Our client leaves the salon like this. They've got nice structure here that's going to add a lot of strength and longevity to their manicure in addition to the product that we've chosen. And after a couple weeks, their nail is going to probably look something like that. 2 weeks isn't a whole bunch of regrowth, but it is enough where it's noticeable. And most people, to be honest, I'm going to zoom in just a little bit so you guys can see better. Most people actually want to come back at the 2-week mark because they don't like that regrowth look. They don't like seeing the color here and then their natural nail regrowth behind it. Some people, they'll do a nude or something clear that's very difficult to see, and so they might go longer. So this is maybe a 2-week mark. this is maybe a 4-week mark. So 4 weeks for me, maybe 5 weeks at the maximum is my limit for anyone. And why would that be the case? Okay, so if we turn this finger back over again, you can see that, and if I take my little pusher here as a pointer, you can see that our apex that was nicely positioned back closer to the cuticle area has now grown out, okay? What this does is it moves a lot of the product out towards the tip of the finger, and now our matrix area and our eponychium and all of this kind of meaty area of our finger where our nail originates from has a lot more support that it needs to give to this nail in order to keep it not only attached to the finger, but keep it healthy and keep it from, twisting or turning. And so imagine a tree that, for example, I always like to think of this. Imagine a tree that grows really, really far to one side. If it's a short tree, it may not be that big of a deal. But if you've got one huge branch that just starts growing off to the side, imagine all the weight and stress that's going to be putting on the roots. And a storm comes through, and pretty soon that whole tree topples over and the roots get ripped right out of the ground. So think about that same analogy when we're talking about kind of a nail that's growing way past the normal breaking point per se for that finger. You're putting that same stress on the root of your nail. And so the root area of your nail, where our nail grows from in that matrix area, that part of your finger is having to provide a lot more support to all of that product and all of that stress that's being put on the same nail. So instead of our apex and our C curve taking on that stress and taking on that support, now our finger is having to do that. This can lead to things like the nail twisting over time. It can lead to kind of other deformations in the nail, especially if you actually have trauma to the nail while it's really grown out. And it can even result in the nail being completely ripped from the root, which I hate talking about because everyone just gets like the heebie-jeebies when you talk about stuff like that. But it is totally true. When you have really grown out nails, you're putting so much stress on that part of the nail that it's very easy for the nail to break either halfway down, which I call down to the meat, or even back towards the root area, which is really hard to recover from, and it can cause a lot of damage to the matrix, and your nail may or may not grow back normally. Okay, so we're talking 4 or 5 weeks, which isn't really the danger zone. But the other thing I like to talk about when talking about the 4 or 5 week mark is this is a lot of product that we need to shave down and we need to replace. And I'll get into kind of the business element of why I don't like going longer than 4 or 5 weeks, because this really isn't a fill anymore. This is going to be more like doing a full set for me if my client waits 4 or 5 weeks. So I'm going to have to charge them as if it were a full set. And again, I'll get into that topic later as we move through videos, because I definitely want to talk about the whole fill versus full set thing. But you can see how much product is missing back here, and it's just creating more and more stress on the nail plate. Potentially, depending on the way that our client's nail grows, they may also have more of a hooking here, or if they have a ski jump nail, they may actually be experiencing more of that ski jump look. And so 4 weeks, maybe 5 weeks is the absolute maximum that I would ever let a client go, just because we want to allay any of these issues that may arise. Okay, so let's talk about some of the pictures that I have seen on social media. Literally, some of the pictures I have seen on social media is pictures of nails just like this, super grown out. This is probably something like 8 weeks of regrowth, maybe even 9. And you'll also see videos of people like pressing on the nail to show that this product down here is not lifting, it's not popping off. And I totally understand where that comes from. I totally understand why people want to wear that as a badge of honor, because like I said, it is more difficult than people let on to get product to last. I mean, it is a skill set in and of itself to be able to master the product that you're working with. But again, this kind of regrowth, when we're talking about 8 or 9 weeks, just look at how much of that nail bed and this area of your finger has to support all of this product that's out there. This part of your nail is protected, but just look at how much wiggle this would have. Again, this is a fake finger, but imagine that all of the structure and all of the strength that we've built into the shape is all the way out towards the tip of your nail. And now the only thing supporting it is your natural nail back here with nothing on it. It's naked, it's exposed. And we've also got to worry about the root of our nail back here trying to support all of this length. Now, your hyponychium, which is the area underneath, the skin that grows out underneath, which if I take this off for a second, this would be kind of like the hyponychium skin that's sticking out. And if you've ever shortened down nails that have been long for a while, you'll notice that this skin tends to grow longer and longer. I don't really have any hyponychium skin, and my fingers are so dry right now because I've been doing all kinds of house projects. But I don't really have an extended hyponychium. But usually if I wear long nails for a long time, I will have my hyponychium grow out further to help support this length, but it can really only grow out so far. And we also don't want to have that be a permanent thing where we can't get that to go back, or we can't adjust the length anymore because we've allowed the nail to go too long in between fills. But I wanted to highlight this with this fake finger to show you that as the nail grows out, this area of the nail that had all of that strength and all of that shape to it is now so grown out that the only thing protecting the nail is this naked portion back here and what's attached to the root. And any type of trauma is going to really create a buckling sensation, and that is how you get those side cracks. That is how you get a nail that breaks way down here. And as a nail tech, that is the worst thing to have to work on, is a nail that has severe trauma, like a crack running through the middle of it. It is really painful for the client. It's very difficult for the nail tech to be able to get that product off. And a lot of times what I have had to do with clients is I have just trimmed the nail down with the product on it and waited for that wound to heal before I soak off or try and e-file off the product, because the whole nail underneath is just completely ruptured, and we don't want to be adding any more chemicals, acetone, alcohol, anything that would sting or burn or cause any type of sensitivity. We don't want to be putting that on a nail that already has an open wound on it. So usually, or if you do have that scenario, I will trim the nail down. I'll hold onto it with all my dear life to make sure that there's no wiggle or any type of movement on the nail plate. And I will, with my e-file, usually with a sanding band or something that doesn't have any type of catch, I will zip right down as short as I can possibly go without hurting the hyponychium or any other area. And I will have the client just bandage that finger up as well as they can, wait a little bit until the skin underneath heals, and then we can worry about trying to get this off. But I thought this was a very important thing to talk about because it's something that I see a lot of, and I want you to understand that yes, that is an achievement, but you're really shooting yourself because you're going to have to deal with all of this regrowth. You're putting your nail at risk. And also for the nail tech, again, this is a ton of work. We want those fill appointments to be something that's kind of low maintenance, a quick color change, a quick infill of product, because the first full set with a client is that time that you maybe spend an hour and a half, sometimes even 2.5 hours, depending on the appointment, what it is, what length of nail you're working on. That first appointment really is the big investment on what do you want your nails to look like? And then the subsequent visits are maintaining that same look, right? So depending on the length that you like or the shape that you like, it's really about maintenance after the fact. And that maintenance factor really goes out the window when you wait too long in between fills, because now you've got to start from scratch practically. By the time you reach 8 or 9 weeks, even if the product is still fully adhered to the nail, that is well-aged product that usually needs to be filed down quite a bit and replaced with fresh. We've got a complete shape change we have to do. We've got to shorten, and it's a lot more product that we've got to work through. So to me, going 8 or 9 weeks with a client really doesn't help me because it's just more work. It's more money for the client. And if you aren't charging more, you're setting yourself up for failure because you are going to be using more product and you're going to be spending more time. And if you're charging a fill price at the 8 or 9 week mark, you are losing money as a business. And as a client, you may be excited that you were able to go that long because, it shows that there was quality in the service. It shows that you're getting value for your money. But at the same time, you're going to have to be in that chair for a very long period of time. You're not going to be able to be in and out in 45 to an hour. You're not going to be able to schedule that any point in your day. And you're also putting your nail health at risk. Any little slip up can cause major trauma to that nail. It's completely exposed, and there just isn't that support that's needed to make sure that the nail can stay healthy and can support whatever length or shape that you have put on it. All right. So I think that's a very important topic to start. with when I get back to these 2021 videos. I hope today's video was very helpful in explaining how this stuff works. And like I said, if you have not watched my C-curve apex video, please watch that, because I do talk about the importance of supporting that wiggle on the nail with a dome-like structure that is achieved through that mohawk of product down the center, as well as the apex area from the side. And C-curves, arches, like the Romans did, is one of the strongest, if not the strongest structure that exists. And so that is what we're looking for when we're creating beautiful, long-lasting nails. But we also want to make sure that we don't let things go too long and that we're not putting ourselves at risk, or we're not creating extra work for ourselves as service providers. All right. Thanks so much, guys. I'll be in touch next time with another great video. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye.